What's up, traders? My name is Vincent Mokotedi, the founder of VinnBoss Signal Factory with over 7 years of proven trading results. I am the only trader who trades publicly with my community. Every single trade, wins and losses included. No hiding, no manipulation, just transparency and real trading results. Furthermore, I would like to tell you that I've already built a Telegram and a WhatsApp community filled with serious traders only. The best part is it's free to join. All you need to do is number 1, register with XNS under our exclusive link. Number 2, verify your trading account. Number 3, fund at least $100. Some traders are funding $1,000 to enjoy higher profits. When you fund, you will get to receive the following that I will mention. Firstly, it will be the weekly Forex forecast of all the major pairs, gold and silver included, daily signals and analysis for London and New York sessions, fundamental news breakdown on major economic events. You will get again a course called Beginner to Pro Ultimate Course for both beginners and struggling traders seeking consistency. Proven strategies tested and verified by myself and other professional traders. One-on-one mentorship where you can request personal attention to deepen your price action and signal understanding. But that's not all. If you are not registered with us or you're not ready to switch over to XNS as of yet, you would still receive daily analysis of 6 pairs only, which includes the euro dollar, the pound and the dollar, the euro Canadian dollar, the pound Canadian dollar, the euro and the pound, and last but not least, the US dollar and the Canadian dollar. You will only receive the London session analysis only. That is a limited access that we give to those who are not with us. So don't miss out on all the full access to premium trading education, signals, and membership. After funding, send proof of registration to WhatsApp 068 060 5332 for instant access to everything. And traders, with the euro and the dollar, what we did have yesterday is the first pullback to here, and we did get good bearish patterns and formations which did not held out. Rather, this moving average right here acted as support, and we got invalidated firstly with the real account traders community, and already we are in another sell signal, of course, looking to go down. But if we do get to this level of the second supply zone, of course, this would also be a great discount, because after we have been invalidated from yesterday, this right here became the second area for us to look for a better discount than yesterday, and this is another fantastic setup, of course. So with that being said, traders, this is the euro and the dollar. I'm trying to keep this video as short as possible so that I can upload it early and you get the signals even though you are not with us on the real account traders community, because some of the people have already gotten the signal and the rules and the setups of how to approach this. So without wasting much time, traders, what do I expect? I expect a continuation to the downside to reach out or breakout structure at 1.1716, or an invalidation to test out the second supply zone, of course, which is the last supply zone, to look for bearish patterns and formations, and a continuation to the downside to take out structure at 1.1716. And with that being said, let's go straight to the pound and the dollar. And traders, with the pound and the dollar, what we do have, it's very similar to the euro in close because of correlation between the two currency pairs, of course. But in this scenario, just because the pound is way weaker than the dollar, the euro is, so the euro did reach our first demand zone and even got into the middle of the second supply zone, of course, not the demand zone. But in this scenario of the pound did not get even closer to the supply zone, of course. But what did happen was we started getting bearish patterns and formations right here at the levels near our supply zone, of course. And let me zoom in so that we can get a very close look at what I'm talking about. And traders, with that being said, I do see this as a very great engulfing pattern. I did see this as a very close engulfing pattern, and that's why we did place a sell stop right here, and it's just got activated right now. And with that being said, this is why I would like to see a continuation to the downside to take out structure at 1.3444. This would be a fantastic place for me to take profit at, because we have risked about 17 pips from this. So traders, with that being said, this is the pound and the dollar for you. We do not want to exaggerate more, as we have already dealt many with the real account traders community, and we are trying to keep this video short so that those who are using the free YouTube watch list can enjoy. So without wasting further time, let's go straight to the euro and the pound, the euro and the Canadian dollar. And traders, with the euro and the Canadian dollar, what we do have is very similar to what I call a confusing trade. Now, I know I'm just following the strategy to the pip, because that's the psychology that gets you money into this game in a long run. But other than that, it's just tricky and confusing. So let me explain to you why it's tricky and why it's confusing. Of course, this is still viewed as a pullback. We could not get any entries here yesterday because of this level was already not valid in the DXY. Of course, it was not already valid in the DXY, and if it was not valid in the DXY, we could not validate it even on the euro and the Canadian dollar, which was a great thing to do. And after that, there is a manner in which you have to pay attention to the pullback. Now, pay close attention to this. Strong momentum to the downside, pullback, strong momentum to the downside, pullback, strong momentum to the downside, pullback, strong momentum to the downside, right? And then all of a sudden, the pullback is much stronger. I know it is at the 78.6 Fibonacci retracement, but I do not like the way this momentum has just came in. It came in as though it has shifted. I know I'm already in a sell, but this is the last sell that I'm going to be, the first and the last sell that I'll be doing, because if it does not continue its momentum to break structure from here, pull back to retest this, and then a continuation to the downside to take out structure at the new low, I will not be interested into this being a sell anymore as soon as it reaches our weekly break of structure. Now you have to pay close attention to this. The Canadian dollar has lost strength drastically, especially against the euro. Does that make sense? I hope it does make sense to some people. I'm going to repeat why I don't think this sell is valid, but I'm just following the strategy, which is one thing that keeps traders making money over time in the markets. I do not like the way this pullback is structured. It's even gone through the 61.8 Fibonacci retracement level with one single blow, no pullback from this area right here up until we have reached the 61.8 Fibonacci, which is this level right here. Does that make sense? This, for a pullback, it is too strong to be a pullback. It might look like the continuation of the strong momentum that the euro has been having against the Canadian dollar. And with that being said, let's check what I am talking about. This is what I am talking about when I'm talking about the strong momentum from the previous weeks. I don't think this is a pullback. I think this is a pause and then a continuation. Now this is a retest of this and then a continuation to the upside. This is what it looks like. It will only be confirmed as soon as we take out structure at the weekly break of structure, of course, right here. And with that being said, traders, I think after that, that's when we will be looking for buying opportunities. And this is still one of the most reckless trades that we have taken because of strategy. We live and die because of following our strategy. That's the bottom line. So that is it, and we're already in. But if you would like to take this trade with me and the rest of the real account, I know one thing that I have to make clear: some of the real account traders did not take this trade as they believe that this has already shifted to the upside, which makes sense. But I'm just following the strategy because I developed it over time, over 5 years developing the strategy, and I know I have to follow it to the pip. Even I have to follow the strategy blindly just to make it clear. So without wasting further time, let's go straight to the pound and the Canadian dollar. And traders, with us today, I would like to remind you that it is still free to join the real account traders community. All you have to do is register under our exclusive Xnest link and then verify your account, fund the minimum of $100 or more, send proof of registration to admin at WhatsApp at 068 060 5332. I repeat, 068 060 5332. Now, with that, you will get all sorts of services. I am talking about both London and New York session, sometimes even the Tokyo session, depending on those who like to trade the Japanese yen, and gold, of course. You get gold signals, you get Nasdaq signals, you get Bitcoin signals, and you get all the currency pair signals, not only the 6 watch list that are on YouTube. So without wasting much time, traders, let's go straight to the charts and see what the euro, the pound, and the Canadian dollar have in store for us. Now, with the pound and the Canadian dollar, we did place a sell stop right here, as it is evident the price has not reached our level of price activation, of course. And with that being said, I still see this as the supply zone. This is a bearish patterns that I would like to see, of course, the morning star, but and also a shooting star right here. But I do not, for that matter, with the pound and the Canadian dollar, we do have what the second bearish structure, of course, right here, and this is the first bearish structure, and this is the second bearish structure that we do have. I do expect a retest and a continuation so that the price get activated and the sell is active, so that we can take out structure at 1.8546. This would be a great place to take out structure and profit at. This is the pound and the Canadian dollar. And if we zoom out a little bit, you will still remember that we are within the lines of our weekly Forex forecast. We did not have any break of structure, of course. With the weekly break of structure, we did not have it. But if this does not, this also is still the best place to look for selling opportunities to go to the downside, which is the second supply zone at 1.8727. Now, let me clarify one thing. The Canadian dollar is weak. Look at the momentum from a weak pound. It did reach the supply zone. But if you do remember or go back to this video and you check the pound and the dollar, you will realize it did not, it just came close to our supply zone, but it did not reach our supply zone. So it does tell you that the pound is weak, but the Canadian dollar is weaker, which comes to the fact that euro and the dollar came straight to, remember, the euro and the dollar came straight to the demand zone, the supply zone, of course, because we are selling it, came close to the supply zone. And after the supply zone that the euro came close to, the Canadian dollar, the euro and the Canadian dollar, it just came and almost that became an uncertain trade because of the strength it came, the pullback came with. So what does that mean? That means that the Canadian dollar, even without us discussing the dollar and the Canadian dollar, you can already see that the Canadian dollar is taking some hits. So with that being said, traders, this is still for me biased to the downside, and I do not think anything other than that. So if we do get our price activated right here, this would also be a fantastic place to look for selling opportunities at 1.8670. And with that being said, this trade is 1:8.69. So traders, let's go straight to the euro and the pound. And finally, with the euro and the pound, we did take profit from last week, Thursday. Of course, we already discussed the win with the real account traders community. If you're following us on Instagram, you would know we already posted a reel about this signal taking profit yesterday. So without wasting much time, traders, let me remind you that this was a fantastic setup. Of course, structured to the upside even the entire week. It was only, even from the beginning of the week, this was structured to the upside. If you did not take advantage of this, I hope you do take advantage of the next one. It was a clear setup for me, buying opportunity to the upside, and we did take out structure right here yesterday. And without wasting further time, let me remind you again, I personally would not be dealing with this going into next week, of course, or not next week for that matter, but the coming days. We already took profit for this week, so I will not be dealing with this personally. But if you are looking for this demand zone is still the best for you to look for buying opportunities and then continue to the upside to make that 1:3 risk to reward ratio. Now, this is if you are going to trade it again. This is, for me, I will record this as a win for this week, because we did take profit Monday this week, which was yesterday. Now, I don't think, also to clarify for those who are going to trade this, I don't think this is a strong break to the upside. I do believe we can still come down to this, and this also right here might give pound some strength, because at this level, as soon as every time we do approach this level, we do get strong bearish momentum at 0.8742. This is the daily resistance zone. So without wasting further time, I would like to go to the US dollar and the Canadian dollar. And traders, with the US dollar and the Canadian dollar, last week we did have a break even from this level. So the market came out and took us and give us a break even. Some people made small profit, but they obviously took it here for small profit. But me personally, I did have this as a break even, no win, no loss. So with that being said, traders, after this is the last signal that I'm having on the Canadian dollar, like buying the Canadian dollar against any currency pair, just like I've already said on the euro and the Canadian dollar, that it is the last signal that I'm going with to the downside. So with that being said, traders, we have just entered here, stop loss at 1.3830. This is the sell signal that was just given, and the continuation to the downside is expected. So with that being said, traders, you have to pay close attention to this, because some traders believe that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we might get an a B, and a C, and then a continuation to the upside to break out structure. So with that being said, I do not believe that, because I blindly follow the strategy for my own survival. So without wasting time, I do not want to go against my strategy. I do believe that this will pan out exactly as I plan. By the end of the week, I would have all the trades that I wanted to. And for those that have the weekly break of structure, I will still capitalize because I have a plan for every scenario in the market, for every scenario that might happen, whether a deeper pullback, a short pullback, a continuation, or the break of structure. I do have a plan for that. And gladly enough, I do share my plans with you right here on YouTube on the six currency pairs, but I do not share them with gold and the rest of other currencies. So, traders, without wasting further time, thanks for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe and refer this channel to someone who you think should know about this. And with that being said, traders, thanks and happy trading.